There comes a moment in every human life when words collapse under the weight of emotion, when the heart swells with something too deep, too sacred, too overwhelming to be shaped into sentences. In those moments, tears become the only language the soul can speak. Tears reveal what the mouth cannot articulate, what the mind cannot process, and what the spirit is trying to release. They are not signs of weakness, they are signs of overflow, the heart spilling its truth. And when you feel that sting behind your eyes, understand this: you are praying without knowing it. You are sending a message to the divine that is more honest than anything your lips could ever form. When you cry, it is your inner being acknowledging a truth your conscious mind has been avoiding. Tears are the body's sacred way of purifying the emotional clutter that blocks connection, clarity, and alignment. They rise when the soul is tired of carrying what no longer belongs inside you. They appear when your spirit is ready to loosen its grip on the pain you've held for far too long. And somewhere in that release, in the trembling breath and the slow exhale and the surrender, God listens, the universe listens. Because tears are not noise, tears are energy, vibration, movement. They are the heart's attempt to speak directly to creation itself. There is a power inside silent tears that most people never understand. You are not falling apart, you are breaking open. You are not giving up, you are giving over. Handing your pain, your fear, your confusion to a force far wiser and far gentler than the human mind. Every tear that falls carries a message: I am trying, I am surviving, I am healing, I am reaching. And that message does not disappear, it travels. It is heard, it is answered. The universe has a way of responding to the prayers spoken without sound, because silent prayers are pure. They bypass ego, they bypass doubt, they bypass the noise of the world. They come straight from your essence. You see, tears are not weakness, they are alignment. They are your soul saying, this is where it hurts, this is where I need help. Sometimes you don't need words, you need truth. You need honesty with yourself. You need the courage to feel the very thing you've been avoiding. And in those moments, the tears you shed are not failures. They are steps toward clarity. They are the beginning of transformation. When you cry, you cleanse. When you cry, you reset. When you cry, you speak the most authentic prayer you will ever send into the universe. Because tears carry intention, they carry longing, they carry desire. They carry the deepest parts of your story. And even when you are silent, you are still communicating with the divine. Crying is not a breakdown, it is communication. It is the soul rising to the surface. It is the heart asking for guidance. It is God leaning closer, listening with infinite compassion. So never be ashamed of your tears. They are messengers, they are healers, they are your soul's language when your voice trembles, when your strength falters, when your faith feels thin. Tears are prayers too, and sometimes they are the most powerful prayers you will ever offer. In those moments of quiet surrender, when your eyes blur and your chest tightens, remember this: you are not alone. You are being heard in a way beyond words, beyond sound, beyond thought. You are speaking the language of the soul, and the divine is responding in whispers you will soon understand. There is a sacred moment in every struggle where life feels too heavy to carry, where the world stops making sense and the weight of everything you've been holding presses so deeply into your chest that you feel like you might break. But here is the truth we often forget. Sometimes breaking is the beginning of becoming. Life does not shatter you to destroy you. It breaks you open to reveal the parts of you that were covered, ignored, or forgotten. And in that breaking, in that trembling space where your strength seems to crumble, God steps in. Not loudly, not dramatically, but quietly, gently, the way dawn enters a dark room, slowly filling every corner with light. There are times when life's challenges feel like too much, when the questions outweigh the answers, when the path ahead feels blurred and uncertain. In those moments, you may feel abandoned or unseen, but you are not abandoned. You are being transformed. When life pushes you to the ground, it is not punishing you, it is positioning you. When everything you relied on falls apart, it is because something greater is being built in the space that opens. Pain doesn't show up to break you, it shows up to break you open. Open to wisdom, open to surrender, open to divine guidance. Think of the moments when you felt your lowest, when you thought you could not possibly rise again. Those moments did not end you, they shaped you. They carved you into someone deeper, softer, more aware, more aligned. Pain is not the opposite of purpose. Sometimes pain is the passage to purpose. And when you reach a point where your strength ends, a higher strength begins. When your understanding fails, divine understanding takes over. When you can no longer hold on, the universe holds you. And that is the moment God steps in. When you surrender the illusion of control, when you release the belief that you must carry everything alone. Life breaks you open so that truth can enter, so that healing can enter, so that grace can enter. You cannot receive what you keep resisting. And the greatest transformations do not happen when you are strong, they happen when you are vulnerable. When your heart cracks, the light enters. When your certainty shatters, faith awakens. When your plans fall apart, divine timing takes over. The breaking is not the end, it is the doorway. There is a spiritual law hidden within every hardship. What feels like falling apart is often falling into place. You may not see it yet, you may not understand it yet, but the moment you break, something unseen begins working for you. The universe rearranges, paths open, guidance arrives. Strength that you thought you lost begins to rebuild from within. And slowly, piece by piece, breath by breath, you rise again. Not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to become. Because when life breaks you open, God steps into the cracks, into the silence, into the tears, into the surrender. And in that space, transformation begins. Every tear you shed carries energy. Not just emotion, not just pain or grief, but energy. The very vibration of your soul recalibrating itself. When you cry, you are not losing strength, you are releasing it. You are shedding the emotional weight, the hidden fears, the doubts that clog your inner channels and block the flow of abundance, clarity, and manifestation. Tears are a natural detox for the soul, a spiritual reset that clears space for what is meant to arrive. Think of them as a form of invisible alchemy. They transform sorrow into clarity, heaviness into lightness, and resistance into readiness. The power of tears lies in their ability to realign your energy. Every unresolved emotion, every suppressed thought, every painful memory carries a frequency that may keep you stuck in cycles you cannot break with mere willpower. But when tears flow freely, the energy trapped in those emotions is released. It no longer lingers in your aura, your body, or your mind. It leaves room for higher vibration, for alignment, for miracles to enter your life. The act of crying is a spiritual clearing. It resets your frequency so that manifestation can flow naturally, unhindered by fear, resentment, or heaviness. Tears also hold intention, even when you feel like you're just crying without reason. Each tear is a silent prayer, a subtle call to the universe. They carry the deep desires of your soul, the hidden longings, the unspoken needs, the aspirations that are too sacred to voice. You may not realize it, but every tear contains a message. I am ready for change. I am ready to heal. I am ready to receive. And the universe responds to that frequency. Just as the soil must be softened before seeds can grow, your energy must be released before your dreams can manifest. Tears are the softening of your inner soil. Many people fear their tears because they mistake them for weakness. But tears are strength. They are the courage to feel deeply, to confront what lies beneath the surface, to surrender what no longer serves you. They are proof that you are alive, aware, and willing to embrace your own transformation. When you allow yourself to cry, you allow the energy of creation to move through you. You are no longer blocking what you desire. You are no longer resisting the flow of abundance, love, or divine guidance. Tears open the channels that your mind cannot open alone. This is why the moments after crying are sacred. You feel lighter, clearer, more present, more connected. You are in a state of energetic reset. you are aligned once again with your highest potential. And in that space, manifestation is not effort, it is inevitable. Your desires, intentions, and prayers move freely from your heart to the universe, unimpeded by old pain or lingering doubt. Every tear is a cleansing, every sob is a prayer, every sigh is a step closer to alignment. The more you honor your tears, the more you honor the energy within you, the more you allow the universe to work on your behalf. So never resist your tears, never silence your soul. Let the tears flow, let the energy move, let the reset happen, because every tear is a portal, a sacred pathway that transforms pain into power, sadness into clarity, and sorrow into manifestation. Your tears are not just expressions of emotion, they are activators of change, purifiers of vibration, and messengers to the divine that you are ready, you are open, and you are willing to receive. After the tears fall, there comes a profound stillness. It is in this quiet that the most sacred encounters happen, the moments when the divine speaks not in thunder or spectacle, but in whispers that touch the soul. When the mind is exhausted, when the heart has released, when the noise of the world fades into silence, a sacred space emerges. This is where guidance comes. This is where clarity arrives. This is where you meet God, not as an abstract idea, but as a presence that feels near, intimate, and comforting. In the quiet, words are unnecessary. Silence becomes a sanctuary, a place where your soul can finally breathe and where the wisdom you have been searching for can flow freely. You don't need to chant, you don't need to perform, you don't need to ask loudly. The divine recognizes the language of the heart, a language spoken in sighs and tears, in pauses, and in the stillness of presence. This is where understanding dawns, where answers emerge, where the path forward is illuminated. Sometimes the most powerful prayers are the ones never spoken, because silence carries purity, honesty, and surrender. It is in these quiet moments that you realize you were never alone, even when life seemed unbearable, even when pain consumed you, even when you felt invisible. There was always a guiding force holding you, whispering to you, nudging you toward your highest good. When your lips could not form the words, your heart spoke them. When your voice failed, your soul sang. And when the world was deaf to your pleas, the universe was listening. Meeting God in quietness is about learning to trust that unseen support, learning to feel its presence, learning to surrender control while embracing guidance. The beauty of these moments is that they are deeply personal. No one else can experience them for you. No one else can take the sacredness of your tears, your silence, your surrender, and turn it into a pathway of divine connection. In these quiet encounters, your intuition awakens. Your inner knowing becomes alive. You begin to understand the subtle nudges, the synchronicities, the gentle signs that have been guiding you all along. This is the space where your heart and spirit align with the higher wisdom that always surrounds you. Meeting God in quietness also teaches patience and presence. You learn that you don't have to force answers, you don't have to control outcomes, you don't have to rush the process. Everything unfolds in perfect timing. Your tears, your release, your silence, all of it was preparation. All of it was a signal that you were ready to receive, ready to understand, ready to align. The quiet is not emptiness, it is fullness. It is a sacred waiting room where transformation completes itself, where guidance reaches you in ways you could never have imagined, and where your soul remembers its infinite connection to love, abundance, and truth. So embrace the quiet, cherish the stillness. Meet God in the moments when you cannot speak, when you do not need words, when your soul simply exists in presence. These are the moments that heal, the moments that guide, the moments that remind you you are never alone. You are always seen, and you are infinitely supported. In this silence, prayer becomes breath, tears become language, and your heart becomes a vessel of divine alignment. Every tear, every ache, every moment of despair carries within it a hidden power. Pain is not meaningless. It is a message, a signal from your soul that something is shifting, that something is being prepared for you beyond what you can see. When you learn to turn your pain into prayer, you transform suffering into strength. Every time you feel broken, you have the opportunity to channel that brokenness into something sacred, to surrender it to the universe, and allow it to be transmuted into guidance, clarity, and personal power. Pain is the raw material of transformation, and prayer is the alchemy that turns it into light. Turning pain into prayer begins with acknowledgement. Don't run from the hurt, don't suppress the sorrow, don't hide your tears. Sit with it, feel it, name it. In naming your pain, you give it form, and in giving it form, you make it manageable. When you recognize the depth of your struggle, you create space for intention to enter. The very act of surrendering what troubles you to a higher power releases its grip over you. You are no longer carrying it alone. You are co-creating with the universe. Your tears, your cries, your silent suffering become a conversation, a sacred offering, a prayer that vibrates with honesty and truth. Prayer is more than words. Prayer is intention. Prayer is alignment. When your heart cannot speak, let your pain speak for you. Let your tears be the words. Let your surrender be the declaration. And as you do this, you will notice a shift, a subtle change in energy, a softening of resistance, a gentle opening in your spirit. What once felt heavy and insurmountable now becomes a doorway. Every sorrow contains a seed of wisdom. Every struggle carries a hidden blessing. And every tear has the power to transform into insight and manifestation. Prayer turns into power when it is trusted. When you allow your heart to release the pain, when you allow the universe to respond, and when you align yourself with the flow of guidance, your energy becomes magnetic. The power of prayer is not in the asking, it is in the receiving. It is in the willingness to release control, to let life orchestrate the answers, to accept that what is meant for you will find you. This is how suffering becomes fuel for growth. This is how pain becomes a signal that you are on the edge of expansion. Every tear is a step closer to your highest alignment. Every silent plea is a spark of divine connection. The transformation from pain to prayer to power is a process. It is not instant. It is not linear. Some days you will feel the heaviness return. Some days the tears will flow again, and that is okay. That is the rhythm of spiritual growth. Each time you return to your sacred surrender, each time you turn your hurt into prayer, you fortify your soul, you cultivate resilience. You open the channels for miracles. You step into your own power. Pain is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Prayer is not passive, it is the energy that moves mountains. And power is not taken, it is awakened within you when you learn to trust, surrender, and align. So take your pain, lift it to the heavens, let your heart speak in silence, and watch as the tears transform into your greatest strength. When you turn pain into prayer, you become unstoppable. When you allow prayer to become power, you step fully into the life you were always meant to live, abundant, aligned, and divinely guided. After the storm of tears, after the release of pain, after the quiet surrender, the soul rises, not as it once was, but as it was always meant to be, stronger, wiser, softer, and more attuned to the divine flow of life. Rising again is not about returning to what was normal. It is about stepping into a new vibration, a higher frequency, a deeper alignment. The soul, after the storm, carries the wisdom of what it endured, the clarity of what it released, and the courage of what it survived. It is renewed, reborn, and ready to manifest with intention. Rising after the storm requires trust. Trust that every tear was necessary. Every pain was meaningful. Every moment of silence was preparing you for clarity. The scars you carry are not marks of weakness, they are proof of transformation. They are reminders of your resilience, your courage, and your capacity to be whole even after breaking. When you embrace your journey, you realize that you were never lost. You were always guided. Every hardship, every sorrow, every tearful night was leading you to a place of deeper understanding and alignment. In this renewed state, manifestation becomes effortless. The energy that was once stuck in pain now flows freely, magnetizing the people, opportunities, and experiences that are in harmony with your soul's purpose. The universe responds to the clarity, the openness, and the alignment that come after release. Your tears were not wasted. They were the key to unlocking this vibrational freedom. Your surrender was not in vain. It was the catalyst that allowed the divine to step in fully, guiding you toward your highest potential. The soul after the storm also carries compassion for yourself and for others. When you have felt the depths of sorrow and the weight of silence, you understand life differently. You move with empathy, with patience, with understanding. Your presence becomes a light for others who are still in the storm, a beacon showing that pain is temporary, that tears are sacred, and that rising again is always possible. You are living proof that brokenness is not the end, but a doorway to strength, clarity, and divine alignment. And so you rise. You rise with gratitude for the lessons, with awareness of your inner power, and with openness to the miracles that await. You rise with the understanding that every tear was a prayer, every moment of silence a conversation with the divine, every hardship a preparation for the life you are now ready to embrace. You rise with faith, not in what was, but in what is becoming, a life aligned with purpose, love, and abundance. Rising again is not merely survival, it is a transformation. It is the awakening of the soul, the reclaiming of your power, and the opening to the limitless possibilities that exist when you align with the divine flow. Remember, tears are prayers, pain is a portal, silence is sacred, and the storm is temporary. What remains is your soul, radiant, resilient, and rising, ready to receive, ready to create, and ready to live fully in the power of divine alignment.